seen a lot of discussion in the groups and forums about enclosures for ball pythons and other reptiles for that matter. ABS and PVC especially. And even a few of you guys have asked me about housing ball pythons. Well, there's a lot of brands out there that make ABS and PVC enclosures and vision cages of sorts, but usually their prices are astronomical. And that's just not economical for most people. Well, I have a solution to that problem. All-American Cages and Custom Enclosures. Now, the owner, James, has been building custom enclosures for right around 10 years, but only officially been in business since January of 2019. That's just a year ago, guys. And I gotta say, his enclosures seem to be pretty good. All right. Now, this is the 36 by 12 by 12 ABS enclosure. So it's the same width as pretty much a 20-gallon long. It's just a little bit shorter, but for ball pythons and things like that, they're not really naturally arboreal, so it shouldn't make a difference in the headroom. Now let's go ahead and open this package and see just what is inside. Really quick, I wanted to show you guys just how well this thing is packaged up whenever it is sent. And when you open up the box, I mean, look at this. It is thick, strapped in, bubble wrap, packing peanuts. Everything is secured. It is not moving at all inside this box. Let's finish taking it out of the box and just see what kind of quality we have. Now, one of the first things you're going to notice whenever you unbox this enclosure is just how light it is. It is extremely light. You wouldn't expect it to be that light, yet this sturdy. Another key feature would be the front doors. There's two of them here, and again, this is the 36 by 12 by 12. And they're locked with these little turnstile keys here, and just pop right open. And the hinges are extraordinarily smooth. Now, one thing you're going to want to do whenever you unbox any enclosure that you get is go ahead and rinse it out and wipe it down with chlorhexidine or alcohol or something of that nature. Okay, this enclosure did come with the fluorescent light. It is a 24-inch fluorescent light fixture. It can be added to your order for an additional $30. It comes wired and installed. Another option you can get is heat tape. You could also have that added, but I'm going to use a heating mat. I'm just going to modify it just a little bit. And you can also get a 6-inch screen cut out on either side for a light or a CHE, whichever you prefer, and you can have it anywhere you want on the top. Alright, let's take a look at that light. When you plug in the light, it does have a little LED to indicate that it is getting power. Then you just flip the switch and it is on. Now, it's showing up a little brighter on camera, it looks like, than it actually is. It is plenty bright enough to check on your animal or to check for feces or urates or what have you and the condition of the animal without disturbing the animal. And again, you're not going to have this light on all the time because, especially with ball pythons, they don't like to be exposed and to have the light on all the time. So just turn it on, check your animal or to showcase the animal, and then you just turn it right back off. As I said, this is an ABS enclosure. It's a 36-12 by 12, and it starts at around 120 bucks, and you can get other additional things like the light, the heat tape, and the hole for the CHE or a light itself. And they focus on affordable ABS budget caging right now. All-American Enclosures do offer a PVC deluxe cage, but the only size that they have right now is a 4 by 2 by 2, and it can be found on Etsy. They also offer aquarium conversion kits, which look pretty awesome. They go on the top of your glass enclosure like a 20-gallon long or what have you, or 10-gallon, and you turn it on its side and it actually opens from the front that way. And that would be great for keeping in humidity, to be honest with you. And They use a 3-step chemical welding process to put these things together, and they come fully assembled. You don't have to do anything at all, and it is put together very, very well. Very well. Now, I mentioned that I'm going to be using a modified heat mat, and I'm going to be running that in conjunction with a thermostat. And the thermostat probe is adhered to the bottom. It is perfectly smooth inside the enclosure. The texture is only on the outside. And I ran the probe in through the same hole as the light fixture uses for its cord. Alright, now whenever I say I'm going to modify a heat mat, what I'm talking about is I'm going to add a little turn knob so I can control the voltage, therefore control the temperature a little bit better, seeing as how this is a plastic material. This is what I'm talking about. It is a mini dimmer, and this particular one was like $9 on 1000bulbs.com, and I've used these with great success, and I'm going to show you guys how to set one up now. Now, I already have the heat mat in place underneath the enclosure itself, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take, and in between the two wires you have a negative and a positive. You're just going to want to separate those two wires along that seam and pull them out a little bit. After you have your wires separated, go ahead and cut them and strip them back a little bit. Now, I've done this approximately 8 inches away from the enclosure itself. You can cut the wires before separating them. I just find it easier, depending on what tool you're using, to go ahead and separate the seam between the wires before you cut them. Our next step, we're going to put connectors in between here. When connecting the wires, you want to go ahead and twist your wires for the dimmer switch itself to the wires for the plug, and you're going to slip it inside your connector, just like so. You're going to push it down as far as you can get it to go and crimp it down. We're going to do that on both sides. Once you have those together, we can connect to the rest of the wiring. Once everything is together, we secure it with some electrical tape. There we are. The dimmer switch is in place and functioning. Now, what is the point of putting the dimmer switch on here? Well, when you put a dimmer switch on your heat mat, what you're doing is you're controlling the voltage that goes to it, thereby controlling more accurately the temperature. Now, you're going to want to test and check your temperature with a laser thermometer, and you're going to want to still run it through the thermostat, but with this in place, the thermostat's not going to bounce up and down as much as it usually would. It's going to keep a more controlled temperature, and if the thermostat were to ever fail, this dimmer would maintain that temperature. Now that everything is in place, we're ready to set up this enclosure. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in the substrate, which I'm going to be using forest floor, and we're going to put in the water bowl, the hides, and everything else. The particular snake that's going to be going in here has an issue with spilling her water. So I found that these tapered doggy dishes do an excellent job, and they keep her from spilling her water, and I'll explain more about that in just a little bit. Now, this is the girl that's going to be going into the enclosure. This is Medusa. She's a couple years old, and she is a spinner blast. That's spider, pinstripe, and pastel, and she's starting to shed there on her head a little bit, so she looks kind of scaly there. That's alright, but she corkscrews quite a bit actually, and sometimes it could be really bad, like really bad, and she does not do well with a lot of vegetation, and she does not do well with glass water dish, something heavy that you would think she wouldn't knock over, she will. She goes upside down, she falls over, and she's gotten tangled up in her vegetation. She doesn't do very well with that. She has a pretty bad wobble from the spider gene. As you can see, she's this very light compared to what it usually is, and she will stay upside down for long periods of time. It's pretty bad, but she's a sweet girl, and she eats fine. She misses quite a bit, but she will take, and she will eat, and she does it by herself. So altogether, not too bad, but it is pretty bad at times. If I were to put her down, it would be even worse. It's a little bit better while you're holding her. Well, let's get her inside and see what she thinks. As you can see, it's plenty spacious. She's not exactly a small snake by any means. She's roughly 2 or 3 years old, so she's on the larger side for ball pythons. But this is a one and done enclosure. The 36 by 12 by 12 is going to be pretty much all you're going to need from hatchling to adulthood. So at the price range, it is unbeatable. Absolutely unbeatable. As you can see with the light, it isn't too bright. It literally looks brighter than it is on camera. It isn't that bright for the animal at all. It's actually perfect. Another excellent feature, if one of your animals is an escape artist, it is going to be impossible for them to escape from this enclosure. Absolutely impossible. Really quick, I wanted to go over some of the key features of the All-American cages. The locking front doors, ventilation on the sides and the back, the possible upgrades such as lighting, heating, and the screen on the top for a CHE, as well as the inside being smooth. It would be easier to clean. It's not textured like it is on the outside, and with it being plastic, polymer, it's going to be far better at holding humidity. You don't have the screen on the top, you don't have all the humidity escaping all the time, and it's just going to be an easier setup to work with. And on top of being much better for the health and happiness of your animal, you have the price. The price is absolutely crazy in today's market. You're not going to find a better price. At least I haven't found a better price out there. There you have it, guys. All-American cages and custom enclosures. They make an absolutely wonderful quality product. I'm going to leave a link in the description below. Check out their line of products. You're going to find something that you want or need, and it's going to be in your price range. That's the most important part. There are a lot of competitors out there in the enclosure world, and a lot of them, their prices are astronomical. That's not the case with these guys. They are absolutely fantastic. I hope me going over the enclosure with you showed you a little bit about them and showed you the quality that goes into it and showed you the possibilities of what you could do with their enclosures. I'd like to give them a very special thank you for sending this enclosure. Like I said, this enclosure is the perfect size, the 36 12 by 12 for a ball python or any colubrid or any small venomous with the locking doors. Check your local laws on that, but for a copperhead or a pygmy rattlesnake or any of the small venomous, even up to medium venomous, it's going to be a great cage all around. So I'm going to leave a link, like I said, in the description below. Head on over there, check them out, and I'd also like to give a special thanks to 1000 Bulbs for sending that dimmer switch, and I'm going to leave a link to that in the description as well. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button, and while you're down there, you might as well subscribe. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.